Chris Paul finds himself a brand new home. What's going on, guys? Welcome into Clutch B-Ball TV. I hope you guys are having an amazing day or night. And as you guys know, Chris Paul has been traded to the Phoenix Suns. As you guys know, Chris Paul is one of the greatest point guards to ever play the game of basketball. He is the nickname the Point God because he is just the definition of a true point guard, in my opinion. In the pick and rolls, playmaking ability, but he could also get his offensively. And he's good on the defense side of the basketball. He's really good at commanding the troops. I've always thought he's been an underrated leader in his NBA career. I've never really got the narrative that he's a terrible leader and he just really can't command the troops and that type of thing. But he finds himself a brand new home and in Phoenix. Of course, he's played for the Hornets in his NBA career, has played for the LA Clippers, the Thunder, now with the Phoenix Suns. And I actually like this trade for both sides. If it's for the future for the Oklahoma City Thunder, if it's right now for the Phoenix Suns and moving forward, because there's some assets the Phoenix Suns didn't even have to give up to go on to get Chris Paul as they go on to get their point guard. The point guard has definitely been the big problem in Phoenix. They have Devin Booker. They have DeAndre Ayton. I like Mikal Bridges. I like Cam Johnson. He's probably going to be a very nice role piece for the future of Cam Johnson. He showed a lot of promise when it came to the bubble towards the end of the season. He shot the three ball very well. A lot of people were bashing the pick when they traded down, but Jarrett Culver's not looked great whatsoever. But I like Mikal Bridges, 3-and-D player. Cam Johnson, knockdown shooter. I like the philosophy. Monty Williams has this no-nonsense attitude, and the team absolutely loves him. They fought for him very hard in the bubble. They went undefeated. But I'm not even a Suns fan, and I was heartbroken for the Phoenix Suns because they were like this close of making the playoffs, and I actually think they would have been competitive. They're on a roll. They had that momentum. But I love Devin Booker. I thought DeAndre Ayton has had an underrated NBA career so far due to having Trae Young, Luka Doncic, Jaren Jackson Jr. in his draft class because he plays in a small market and he doesn't have the flashiest of style of play. I would like to see him stretch it to the outside, but he's gotten better defensively. He's an NBA ready body. He's really athletic. But when he came back from the suspension, he was absolutely balling, and I thought he had a great rookie year as well. But the thing that was impressive and I would be very happy with if I was a Phoenix Suns fan, they didn't even have to give up the 10th overall pick. They didn't have to give up Cam Johnson. They didn't have to give up Mikal Bridges so they can get an Aaron Naismith. They can get the kid from Villanova, Sadiq Bey. Couldn't think of his name for a second. Devin Vassell, if he slips there, you could still get a very promising player, 10th overall. Cam Johnson, knockdown shooter. Mikal Bridges. So you didn't give up your whole farm system. You didn't give up your whole young core to go out there and get Chris Paul. I really do think this is a great fit. Devin Booker, we know, one of the greatest scorers in the game. DeAndre Ayton's very dominant. Still improving on the defense side of the basketball, but I thought he's gotten better. But to give credit to Ricky Rubio, he was solid, but he was just inconsistent offensively. You know what you're getting with Ricky Rubio. He's a guy that's not great like defensively, but he's a good playmaker, good in the pick and roll. He's very fundamental, but he's not a crazy good shooter. He's not a crazy good scorer. But then you get this guy, Chris Paul, who's been called the point guard in his NBA career. He's really good at distributing the basketball. He's going to be great in the pick and roll with DeAndre Ayton, those rolls, those alley-oops, the pick and pops, and that type of thing for sure. If DeAndre Ayton does end up stretching into the outside, those pick and pops will be deadly. He's really good at collapsing the defense, penetrating to the hoop, kicking it out. I can just picture it now, kicking it out to Cam Johnson or Mikal Bridges, but he's a guy that's definitely good in mid-range territory. He's a guy that's going to make the right basketball play. He's not going to stunt the development of a Devin Booker, but he's also going to get his in the clutch. But he does realize when he's off in some games, and he makes the right play towards the end of the game, kicking it out to someone that is on fire. But I'm a big fan of Chris Paul. Yes, he's paid a lot of money. This may be a mistake to some people out there. Some Phoenix Suns fans might have been like, we should have drafted a Kyra Lewis. I kind of wanted Tyrell Terry. Some Phoenix Suns fans may say out there in the world, this is like a win now mode type of move. But it's kind of not at the same time because you're going to win now. You're probably going to make the 8th seed. And a lot of people will be like, what's the point of making the 8th seed? You're not going to win an NBA championship with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. Even though I love that duo, I think Devin Booker's in his prime. DeAndre Ayton's definitely getting there in my opinion. I still think he has some things to brush up. But I like Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges. They brought in these win now mode basketball players. And I really like the philosophy of Monty Williams and this organization. I think they've definitely turned it around. But the reason why I think it's a good move is because right now, yes, you might be 7th, 8th seed and lose in the first round, but you're going to give that experience to a Devin Booker. You're going to give that experience to a DeAndre Ayton, what they're going to expect in the playoffs, the atmosphere. Actually, there may be no fans, but you'll get to play up against the best of the best, high-level intensity, and that type of thing. And when Chris Paul does leave, if they let him go, his contract's up, he retires, Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton would learn a lot from Chris Paul. Or if they draft a point guard next year, they're going to get a lot of advice from Chris Paul, and I think they would just be put in a perfect position. And his contract's not as bad as Russell Westbrook's. Russell Westbrook's more dominant. He'll take the ball out of Devin Booker's hands. And I just think Chris Paul's a much better fit, in my opinion. Makes everyone around him better. They're totally different leaders, though. Russell Westbrook's a lead by example type of guy, just hard work when it comes to just working out. And obviously, I'm not his teammate or anything, so I don't really know how he is on the basketball court and in practices. But he's definitely, it seems like a lead by example. He puts in a lot of work. He's very hard working. Then you take a look at a guy like Chris Paul. He just plays the game the right way. He plays with the right tempo, at the right tempo. He's really good at catching defenders on his hip, pulling up from mid-range territory, making the right pass down low. He's just so much fun to watch, Chris Paul. If you want to be a great point guard, I recommend just watching Chris Paul's game because he's one of the truest point guards, very fundamental, but he's so good at the same time at his age, and he's really going to elevate the team around him. And I really am looking forward to seeing what the Phoenix Suns are going to do with Chris Paul moving forward. But the Thunder, I also like what they did. The Thunder, they got another first-round pick. They got a future draft pick, 2022. It does come down to how good the Suns are, though. It depends, if the Suns are good, if they're bad, what pick they're going to be slotted in. I just think it's crazy, the amount of draft picks the Thunder have. It's absolutely amazing. The Thunder have 17 first-round picks until 2027. Like I said, which is absolutely crazy. They have a great future, especially because of the Paul George trade and that whole thing. But they got a future draft pick, like I said. They got Kelly Oubre, who did have a bad injury. Hopefully he can recover from that. But he is going to be a free agent after this season, which might kind of hurt if he doesn't return. But I just think the Oklahoma City Thunder have such a great organization, and they're good at developing players, that I think it would be a good fit. But Oubre had a career year, shot the ball very nicely from three. He's a great athlete, good teammate. It seems like he's a gym rat, and that's a nice young core piece for the Oklahoma City Thunder that fits a timeline with a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. For sure, they got Jalen Lecque, of course, went to Webster, I believe, or Brewster. I forgot the name of his high school he went to, but he was definitely a guy he's a guy that's just a freak athlete, but he was in the G League most of the time. I'm not sure if he's really going to get time in the NBA. Maybe at best he'll be a nice role piece, bring some energy off the bench. But I think getting a guy like Ricky Rubio is actually nice for the Thunder. It's just like a stopgap type of guy that's going to come in, he's going to make the right basketball plays, and he's not going to take the ball out of the young core's hands for sure. Yes, it was a big loss losing Chris Paul, but eventually they were going to move on from him because they're a young core team. And it's about development and bringing in this winning culture. And Chris Paul, I bet, taught Steven Adams a lot, taught Shai a lot, Darius Bazley, these young guys. And I just think they're probably very blessed and very happy that they had Chris Paul as a teammate. They probably learned a lot from him. But yeah, the Thunder get a point guard in exchange because they needed a point guard, obviously losing Chris Paul. Great leader, great distributor. His contract is big, but it is over in 2022. That's the good news. But yeah, we'll see. If you're a Thunder fan, if Kelly Oubre plays good, do you want to bring him back? I would. I'm a big fan of Kelly Oubre's game. But just, wow, this is a big-time trade. The Suns also got Abdul Nader, who's a guy that's just a nice shooter off the bench. Besides that, he's not anything freakish athletically or anything like that. I just think the Suns did a good job getting Chris Paul, getting their point guard, winning now. But also, they're holding on to that 10th overall pick this year, get a nice 3-and-D guy, because like I said, I think if someone's going to be great out of this draft, I think it's going to be towards the end of the lottery. Those win-now mode pieces, I think there's a bunch of nice role pieces in this draft. Role players, quality starters, and just congratulations to the Thunder and the Phoenix Suns. I think they both did a good job. Thunder getting another future draft pick, bringing in a Kelly Oubre Jr., hopefully recovers nicely from that injury. The Suns get their point guard, and yeah, they've been searching for that guy, and it's going to take pressure off of Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, and I'm really excited to see these teams moving forward. I think the Thunder have a tremendous future. The Suns, like I said, I think they did a good job holding on to their young core, and they're set right now and in the future. Congratulations to Oklahoma City Thunder and the Phoenix Suns.